Well, you've worked hard to build your retirement savings, but the challenge is to make it last. How do you keep your money safe while growing enough to fight off long term inflation and rising costs that you're going to have that come throughout the future of your retirement years? Today you're going to learn a step by step strategy to confidently balance risk and security in retirement so you can enjoy life without constantly worrying about market swings. The sooner you find balance, the better you're going to have of staying financially secure for decades to come. So, number one, what I want you to do is I want you to start with what your retirement goals are. What income do you need to cover the essentials in life? Housing, food, healthcare, your basic living expenses should be considered covered from reliable income. Don't put that money into the stock market because the stock market can have a lottery of returns of the market. Then you want to identify what type of income do you want to have for your lifestyle. So you're talking about your minimum monthly income needs and you're talking about your ideal income. Your ideal is going to be your lifestyle. So that's your travel, your hobbies, your gifting. Those things you have a little bit more control over. In those investments, you can have those investments put more so towards the stock market, meaning that if and when the market does good, you're able to take more travel. You're able to do those home improvements. Maybe you can gift more money to your kids or grandkids. But in those years where the market doesn't do good, you can control what those are as well. So start with what those retirement goals are, minimum monthly income and ideal income, breaking it down into those two categories. Your security or your must have, I believe that you want to have those investment assets covered in more safe assets. Your growth goals are the things that are going to cover. It'd be nice to do this. It'd be nice to travel more. It'd be nice to be able to give my grandkids some money to go to college. Those are okay to have in more so those risky assets. Number two, what I want you to do is I want you to cover essentials with that secure income. So, again, security first, that's going to be the cornerstone of your retirement, that reliable income bucket of money. Match your fixed expenses with safe income sources. That could be Social Security, a pension, it could be annuity income, it could be a bond ladder or a CD approach. If your secure income covers your needs, you can take more risk with the rest of your money. Number three, what I want you to do is I want you to segment your portfolio by time frame. Use the bucket approach. A good video I have on this is if you type in Google the independent income system, you can see a little bit about how we build out the bucket approach. But in essence, when you have your bucket, your short-term bucket, 0 to 3 year type money, that money, what you want to have is have it in things that are liquid that are going to be designed to cover near-term spending expenses. It could be things like a high-interest money market account. It could be short-term bonds. It could be cash. It could be CDs to cover that 0 to 3 year money. The second bucket of money that you have is that 3 to 10 year bucket of money. When you look at 3 to 10 year bucket of money right now, as I record this, where I see opportunities in the marketplace right now would be one, individual bonds. I'd also see opportunities in fixed annuities, and I'd also see opportunities in indexed annuities. Good place to have for bucket number two in that 3 to 10 year space. Bucket number three is that 10 year plus money. For that 10 year plus money, this is where you're going to have stocks. You're going to have your growth assets, those assets designed to outpace inflation. It's following that bucket strategy is going to allow you to have some stability and allow you to have money designed for long-term growth. Number four, what I want you to do is I want you to manage your risk by knowing what you own. Broad market index ETFs are a good thing to have. So, there's ETFs that are designed to have a similar type return of what the S&P or the Dow Jones or the NASDAQ is. Those for your long-term growth are going to give you nice broad market exposure. You can also go into, purchasing individual stocks. If you look at the criteria and you know what you own, individual stocks can be a great position for long-term growth of the portfolio. Again, as long as you have a defined investment methodology that says, what do you buy? Why do you buy it? How long do you hold it? And what reason would you sell it? Write those things down because then you're not making a gut decision based upon emotions why you would buy and sell your investments. Number five is you want to have a reasonable withdrawal rate. And, the classic 4% rule is a good starting point, but you've got to be flexible in where your withdrawals are at. I had met somebody earlier this week, and what we did is worked on creating a written retirement income plan. And in her plan, if she used inflation adjusted withdrawals at 4%, it only showed that she had about a 30% probability of being able to reach her lifetime retirement goals, assuming she lived until the age 85. And what I told her is that, in 30 years of doing this, there's different ways to look at withdrawal strategies in retirement. It's not always just inflation adjusted, meaning that, retirees don't go into retirement time and just spend more money each and every year. It's been my experience that a retiree will go into retirement. They're going to spend more money in those early years while they're young, healthy, able to travel. As they get into their mid to late 70s and early 80s, maybe they don't travel as much. The kids spend them. Their spending actually may go down unless they have a healthcare related expenses. So you might develop like a floor and ceiling approach, meaning you spend more money in the years that the market's doing good, and you allow flexibility to be more conservative when the market goes down. Having that guardrail type of an approach can be a way to look at reasonable withdrawal strategies. Number six is you want to plan for inflation and healthcare expenses. Inflation has been, a hot topic here recently, but if I go back 5 years ago and think about my retirees, inflation hasn't been such of a big issue in the past, and it is today. And when you're looking at healthcare planning tools, you want to understand, how health savings accounts work. You want to look at long-term care coverage, understanding what your Medicare strategy is, and putting guards to protect, for unexpected expenses. The last thing you want to do is have a solid investment plan and then have an unexpected healthcare expense blow up that plan. So number seven, what I want you to do is I want you to review your plan annually. Retirement's not just a set it and forget it approach. You want to review your spending, your investment performance, and your allocations on a yearly basis and, adjust based upon market changes, goals, and health. So retirement isn't just about guessing. It's about planning with a purpose. And, aligning your income and your goals to protecting what you need and growing what you don't, you can turn that uncertainty into clarity. This strategy is going to give you the freedom to enjoy retirement without living in fear of what the short-term market swings are or the rising cost. And don't leave your future to chance. Start applying these principles today. Give yourself that peace of mind knowing that your money is working as hard as possible and it's going to last as long as you do.